let's take a look at our top selections. Hi everybody, Dan Illman here, taking a look at the feature race at Santa Anita on Sunday. Let's throw up the field for race number 6. It's the $70,000 Clockers Corner Stakes. We're going 6 furlongs on the turf. Hopefully, there is expected rain in the forecast in Southern California for this weekend, and there's a chance that the Clockers Corner could be taken off of the turf. Well, we'll handicap this in the hope that it stays on, and we'll throw up the Timeform US pace projector for this race. And remember, if this race is washed off the turf, if there are significant scratches, this pace projector will update once scratches are official at timeformus.com. You see the number 1, Mr. Vargas. I would think rain or shine, Mr. Vargas is likely to be the early leader. Winner of the Grade 3 Green Flash handicap in 2019, looks to be rounding back into form. Only 3 starts last year for Mr. Vargas, and most recently just got away on an easy lead on dirt at Los Alamitos and blew him away to the tune of a 4-length win and a 103 Beyer speed figure effort. Mr. Vargas, tough rain or shine. Going to be tough, especially on the turf. Expected to make the lead from the inside post. I think a horse that deserves some consideration is the number 2, Strong Constitution. Now, Strong Constitution has not sprinted on the turf since August. First start off of a long layoff. Thought the horse ran okay in that non-winners of one other than race. Down inside, shuffled back a little bit inside on the turn, ended up in between horses, only beaten 2 and change. This horse won his career debut sprinting on the turf and has just been overmatched in his last 2 races. In the Grade 2 Mathis Brothers Mile, a race where there was no closing. It was controlled throughout by the front runners. He was in against Smooth Like Straight, one of the better 3-year-old turf horses in Southern California last year, and completely overmatched 2 back in the Hollywood Derby with Strong Constitution. So I like that they're doing some different things here. Cutting him back in distance, dropping him in class, adding blinkers. Strong Constitution would benefit if the pace is solid up front. Let's watch a replay of the 3. Thanks Mr. Edson, who won this race at Del Mar 2 starts back. This was his most recent start on turf. Since then, he has run on dirt and was only beaten a nose by a very fast horse named Captain Scotty. But as you see here on the turf, he rallies from off the pace nicely to win. And it's nice to know that this horse is equally adept on turf and dirt, and just seems like he's coming into his form. His last 2 races have resulted in career best Beyer speed figures. This horse has a little bit of tactical speed, and he should be running late, whether on the dirt or on the main track. The 4 Real News was claimed out of his most recent start by Peter Miller, who excels with these type of horses, claiming them, moving them into proper spots in Southern California. And this is a proper spot for Real News, a horse that has some back class. A stakes winner at Sam Houston in the beginning of 2020, he competed in some tough Grade 2 stakes races over the fall and was dropped in for $40,000 last time out. Miller plucked him out of that race. He was wired that day. I like that the blinkers come off. Real News to me is the kind of horse that needs a little bit of pace up front, but he has the back class to threaten in a race like this, and I would respect him on the turf. Ghoul is the number 5, and this horse just looks like he's turf. Let's watch Ghoul's most recent race going the 6 furlongs on the turf at Santa Anita. Now note, he was in for a $62,500 optional claiming tag. He's going to be stepping up in class here, but it's a good solid late rally under Joel Rosario to win it. This horse has always been a turf sprinter at heart. If it rains, you may not want to use him. I don't think he's much on dirt, but he's okay on the turf, especially if the pace is fast. The 6 is Wazzo Daguerre. Remember Wazzo Daguerre with Chad Brown in 2016 when he was a 2-year-old with a little bit of promise, and it just never panned out for him. He was claimed for $62.5 by Doug O'Neill back in last year, and this is a horse that seems to do his best running on the synthetic surface at Golden Gate Fields. He last ran off of a long layoff in the race we just saw. Ghoul won that race. Wazzo Daguerre went to the front. He probably needed that race. It was a good tightener to set him up for this, but I just think his best surface is the synthetic at Golden Gate, and this field might be a little bit tough. Strike Me Down is the 7, and we're going to go back to Strike Me Down's race 2 starts back at Woodbine at 1 1/16, an optional claiming event where he was relatively close to a fast pace as the favorite. He got into a little bit of trouble. You're going to see him finish 3rd in here. After that race, he was sent over to Phil D'Amato. They tried him on dirt last time out at Los Alamitos. He did not run badly at all. I think it kept him fit, and it's going to be a nice bridge for this race. Make no mistake about it, however, turf appears to be this horse's surface. It's all about whether he wants to sprint. Now, he ran 7/8 of a mile off the long layoff at Woodbine last year. He ran okay in that spot. I just wonder if he may want a bit more ground than the 6 furlongs. Completing the field is Gregorian Chant. You want to talk about a turn back in distance. This horse last race did 1.5 miles in the Hollywood Turf Cup, and he was completely overmatched that day. That doesn't mean he can't win here. Another horse that was overmatched in that spot, the 10th place finisher, came back to win the unusual Heat Turf Classic for California breds with a 97 Beyer speed figure. Gregorian Chant's turning all the way back, however, has not sprinted since his career debut, a successful 7/8 of a mile run over a synthetic surface overseas. I just think this distance is a bit sharp for Gregorian Chant, who might be outrun in the early portion of this race. We take a look at my top selections for the Clocker's Corner, hopefully to remain on the turf. I want to give Strong Constitution a chance turning back in distance, getting blinkers, and dropping in class. I think he's going to be a good price. I certainly respect the number 1, Mr. Vargas. I think his speed is dangerous, but Real News is a horse I also want to use in multiple race wagers off the Peter Miller claim. 2-4-1-5 for me, and the Clocker's Corner, hopefully on turf at the Great Race Place on Sunday. Best of luck.